G'day guys, welcome back to an episode of our Kart Class YouTube channel. Thanks very much everyone who's supported the channel so far. We're really looking forward to helping you guys out. Today's episode is going to be all about how to drive a go-kart for the first time. Now for a lot of people, they may have seen their family or friends get into kart racing, they may have driven rental karts, but they don't really know what it's like to drive a proper performance race car. So today we're going to show you a couple of key tips for your first time. We may have driven a kart before, we may not have. So the first thing we want to try and concentrate on is our seating position. So we want to make sure that our arms have got a nice bend in them, got like a nice little V in them. If they're too straight or if you're too crouched up, it's going to limit the amount of chance you've got of your steering inputs. The second thing that we want to try and concentrate on is our pedals and how much of a bend our legs have in it. If you're stretching right out to reach those pedals, that's not going to be ideal as well. If we're trying to hit the brakes quite hard, we're trying to squeeze on the acceleration as well. So getting that seating position correct is going to be the first thing that we want to try and concentrate on. Alright, so with our seating position, now this is my kart for starters, but as we're going to see is slight bend in the arms on both sides. You see some people who are too crouched up and they just don't look comfortable at all, and it's hard for them to start turning the steering wheel as well. So when you're sitting in the kart, make sure you're pushing yourself back so you sort of get yourself comfortable. You're pushing your hands into the wheel and keep yourself got a small bend, not too much there. That allows me to be able to turn the kart nice and easy and in control. Now with our accelerator and our brakes, you can straight away see if this was my kart, way too close. So you don't want to have that, I've got no room here between the steering wheel and my legs. So way too close to myself, but for an example today, it can show you what not to look like. When I'm pushing flat out, again, way too much in the bend. So if I was to drive this kart, I'd want to be basically, I'm almost at the end, but I'm going to have a slight bend only in my legs. Not too much, that I can still press the acceleration. And you don't want to be just tapping with your toes. You want to actually be able to physically push your leg into those pedals as well. So that's the way you want to get comfortable from your first session. But yeah, if this was my kart, I'd be moving those pedals about 20 centimeters straight away. Alright, so the second thing that we want to try and get used to when we get into the kart for that first time is our pedals. So with the acceleration and also the braking, you want to make sure that you're not smashing on either the pedals. If you hit the accelerator way too hard, the chances are you're going to get that oversteer, that slight bit of wheel spin, and you're going to spin out. The same happens when you hit the brakes too hard. If you just jam on the brakes too hard, the rear of the tyre is going to lock up and you've got a chance of spinning out. So it's all about just squeezing them on, being patient and building up that confidence for yourself. Because with confidence comes those building blocks so you can start to improve on. Now, if you want to try and set yourself a goal, you're just trying to improve lap on lap. But if you go at the gate way too hard and you start to spin out, well, then your confidence starts to drop, you start to become timid, and your lap time is going to start getting a little bit slower as well. So just these into things when you're starting out for that first time. On the flip side of that, you're going to feel some oversteer as well. We're going to turn in very, very gently, and you're going to feel the rear of the kart starting to dance around a little bit as well. These are good things to try and experience and to feel. That's going to help you progress through your karting ranks a lot faster as well. Now, as you're wanting to improve your lap times, braking is going to be probably the number one thing that's going to enable you to go that faster in your lap times. Because if you want to go faster into the corners, you have to bring that speed down a lot quicker as well. So it's all about knowing the braking capabilities that your kart's got. So I would probably try and recommend on a practice day when there's no one else around, in the middle of the straights, try and hit the brake quite aggressively at a lower speed. So in case something did go wrong, you might have a spin. You know, if you've got a clutch, you can just drive back out of that spin and keep going. What this does is it starts to teach you how quick the kart can stop, how quick the karts lock up, the tyres lock up, and that starts to building that confidence. So as you go faster into these corners, you know if you hit the brakes a certain amount, it's either going to ease on the brakes or it's going to lock up aggressively. So it starts to build up those little confidence mechanisms in your brain that makes you a lot faster down the track. Now, one of the other cool things about kart racing is we've got quite a wide track in regards to the size of a kart. So our kart's, roughly 1.4 meters wide for our senior karts, and about 1.2 meters wide for our cadet karts. But a lot of these racetracks give us about 8 or 9 meters in track width. So knowing where to position your kart on the track is going to be very important for you to be able to go faster and also to control the kart. So it's about learning where to place the kart. Using a bit more of the actual race track is going to make you faster. When you're starting out and you're nervous to use the edge of the track, because at the speed that you could be traveling, you might think, if I do spin off, there's nowhere for me to run off to. I'm going to end up in the gravel. So what a lot of newcomers do is they start in the middle of the track, and although it's safe, it's hard for them to progress with a lot more speed because their corners are just way too tight. So once you start taking those corners a bit wider and you start opening up those corners, you start to carry more speed through the turns and your lap times will drop. Okay, so just remember that kart racing is all about learning, having fun, and it's a stepping stone to further motor racing categories. I would recommend starting off slower, getting comfortable in that kart, make sure that your steering wheel's in a nice enough position, you've got a slight bend in your arms, and you're not reaching for the pedals too much with your legs. Once you're comfortable in the kart, straight away you're going to have that more confidence to be able to push the boundaries. Now remember, for your first time, get comfortable with the pedals, both the acceleration and the braking. Don't just smash them both on, both the pedals, and never try and do them at the same time as well. Once you've got that out of the way, look for your racing lines, get comfortable with the brakes. If you want to go faster, you need to press the brakes quite hard. And lastly, use the full width of the track. Don't try and make your corners too tight. Open up those corners and your speed will drop down with that as well. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a comment down below and we'll help you guys out with the other questions you've got. Be sure to follow our other social media channels at Kart Class at our Instagram and also our TikTok above here. Until next time, guys, I'm your host, Adding Time Australian Champion David Serra. Thanks very much.